Hello, and welcome to the screencast tutorial series for Philologique. We're going to be looking at a database that's extremely useful if you're doing research in classical studies, especially if you need to find scholarly articles. In this first lesson, we're going to be looking at how to reach and access the database, as well as giving an overview of its basic functions. So to start, we are at the library's homepage, libraries.luc.edu. We need to get to the Classical Studies Subject Guide. In order to do that, we can look under the left column here, and it says Subject Guides. We click on that. Then on the left again, there's a list of the various subjects. We'll click on Classical Studies once on the left, and then when it appears in the center, once again there. And this is a database, so we'll click under the Databases tab to find the link to the database. At this point, if you're trying to log in remotely from off campus, you'll be prompted for your Loyola ID and password. So if you need to go ahead and enter that, do so. Otherwise, we are left at this introductory screen, which gives us a little bit of information about the database. So if we look here under latest news, it says that the last time this database was updated was in September of 2009, in which volume 78, or all of the material from 2007, was uploaded. This brings up a good point that while this is an electronic version of the print Linné Philologique, it actually is 2 to 3 years behind the print version. So it's not the most current, although it is generally the most comprehensive for literature and classical studies. It also tells us that the next time there will be an update will be September of 2010, in which volume 79, or all the bibliographic information from 2008, will be uploaded. So now that we know a little bit more about the database, we can get started by clicking enter. And this brings us to the main search screen. You might notice this is laid out a bit differently from other databases you may have used, so it's a good point to go over the basic search functions. You can search for articles by modern author, which is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, authors that have written in the last 80 to 90 years will appear in this database. So if you know a name of a modern author, you can search by that criteria. Full text is a bit misleading because this is not a full text database. You generally will not be able to get PDFs or HTML versions of an article if you found a reference to it. What this does is searches the full text of the article's entry in this database. So title information, author information, abstracts, things like that. Ancient authors is pretty self-explanatory. If you are looking for an author from antiquity, this is the best option to use. Subjects and disciplines allow you to search by a number of subfields within classical studies, such as archaeology or linguistics, and that will help you narrow down a large number of articles, which we'll get into later. Date allows you to limit by date, pretty self-explanatory, and other criteria has a number of smaller search functions like publisher, language, reviews, etc., which we'll go into at a later lesson.